Helen Keller. Helen Keller was born on the 27th of June in 1880 in Alabama. Her parents were Kate Adams and her father was Arthur Keller. Her father had fought in the war for the South. When he went home to his farm, his wife and two sons from his first marriage called him Captain. Helen was the first baby girl in the family. Before Helen was 2, she became blind and deaf because she got very sick. By the time she was 5, she made up over 50 signals to show her family what she wanted. When Helen wanted her father or mother to come with her, she pulled them, or if she wanted them to go, she shoved them away. It was March 3rd, 1887. Helen's life was going to change because Annie Sullivan was going to try to teach Helen. Annie came to Alabama on the 6:30 train. Then when they got home, Helen went to hug her mother, but then a stranger went to hug Helen. Annie and Helen went to live in a house next to the Keller's house, but Annie did not want Helen to know that she was a quick run from home, so she went on a long carriage ride with Helen, and it worked. Helen thought she was in a new, strange place. In a few weeks, Helen was changing because she was starting to obey Annie. On April 5th, 1887, something great happened. Helen was doing the dishes. Annie took Helen to the water pump and spelled the word water into Helen's hand, and she put water into Helen's hand. Then Helen had a look of wonder light up in her face. Then she spelled the word water back into Annie's hand many times. Now Helen knew that word stood for things. For a summer, Annie and Helen went to Cape Cod. Cape Cod was probably one of Helen's most favorite places. Going to Cape Cod was the first time that Helen went swimming in the ocean. One time, Helen was swimming and the waves pulled her under the water and she could not find her way up to the surface. But Helen loved to feel cold salt water on her face. Helen wanted to know who filled the ocean with salt. Helen had a dream of talking with her family when she got home. Annie got a teacher to help Helen learn to talk. At the end of the first lesson, Helen could say M, I, P, Q, T, and S. Helen wanted to go to college, but not many women had gone to college in the 1900s, but no blind deaf woman had done this, so Helen wanted to be the first. Helen wanted to go to Radcliffe for college. If Helen got to Radcliffe, it would be amazing, an amazing accomplishment. For college, Helen went to Radcliffe. And it was very hard for Helen because not a lot of the books were in Braille. Braille was a special type of book for blind people because they could not read by sight, so they read by touch. Helen could not rest or she would fall behind in class. At school, the other girls did not know what to do because Helen was famous, so the girls just shook Helen's hand and ran off. Helen was the author of a few books. The books that she wrote were The Story of My Life, The World I Live in, Teacher, Annie Sullivan Macy. In 1905, Annie marries John Macy. And then in 1936, one of the saddest things happened to Helen. Annie died. Helen was very sad because Annie had been with Helen since she was 7 years old. Things would never be the same for Helen. There is a movie about Annie and Helen called The Miracle Worker. Helen Keller died on the 1st of June in 1968. Her story continues to inspire us.